All right, part 2. Nadia came to me and brought me paperwork where she found a 1-bedroom for like $573. It's an apartment. It's in Palm Coast. And that's honestly 40 minutes away. So am I going to drive 40 minutes to work, 40 minutes back every single day? So that's one thing. And then another thing, is she's giving me the option to go live with her, and there's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath available for $800. So then I compare this 3-bedroom deal in an apartment versus, having this part of someone else's house, and it's bizarre. Like, the bathtub isn't inside my actual house. I mean, it's in the house, although it's not in my part of the section of the house, though I'm welcome to use it. See what I'm saying? I keep thinking that would be a good first place, although then I would really have to figure things out in 6 months, like going somewhere else, or I would be allowed to continue the same exact lease for 6 more months under the same conditions of paying the $6,000 up front. So that's a lot of pressure for me. Although a sacred space is all I've been caring about, so I kind of like the idea of doing that. And then another thing I keep obsessing about is when I was volunteering at Ayla's Acres, there were these 2 chairs that I just found so beautiful. You should know that I'm obsessed with home stuff, by the way. I love the idea of home. Like, I love chairs, I love offices, a creative space area where I can do arts and crafts and I can paint, a piano in the house, musical instruments. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very homebody in some essence, where I want to like lay in bed and cuddle all day and eat and cook and have like the freedom to explore myself, although at the same time I love to be outside and in nature. And then another thing that's coming up actually is about the house is who's going to watch George when I'm traveling. What do I do then? Like, they have like those boarding places where I like board them up. I don't like the idea of doing that. I did get some paperwork for George, although she kind of messed it up and it still says dog, so I really need her to fix that. And I'd like it to be more personalized. It says George or something. I don't know. I have to talk to that therapist, basically. The rapist, if you think about it. So, there's that. And I'm trying to work with Dennis right now about creating personal space and personal boundaries and like what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. And he keeps talking about how he's leaving in September too. Though, what if he doesn't go in September? Then what? And then will I really be happy with the whole place to myself, or will I still want my own place? I mean, that's what I think it's going to boil down to. I'm going to be there until I reach a point where all I want is my own entire house to myself. And the landlord that I could rent a place from, he's trying to encourage me to purchase a house, basically, and tell me that the state will basically give me a large sum of money as a down payment for a first-time homeowner type arrangement, which is fascinating. And at the same time, that also frightens me, because then you have to pay for your own roof, you have to pay for your own washer, your own dryer, like all your own refrigerator. Like, you're starting from scratch, piping. Like, I'm sure there's all kinds of things I'm just like not really thinking about right now, though the idea of it certainly sounds great. And I like the idea of, purchasing a home for my mom to basically be in, and for my family to just always have somewhere to go. So I'm trying to figure that out. As a matter of fact, I should probably call my brother and talk to him some. He's pretty helpful. I love my brother to death. I'm actually really looking forward to spending more time with my family when I go down there. I've never been more excited for Valentine's Day to be over. Now, usually I get like really hopeful and excited. Like, I have these expectations that I want like a boyfriend or like a guy to be like crazy about me. Although like I'm also like really spoiled. Like I don't want the typical roses and candy and all that, you know, like I mean, yeah, I like poetry too. It's like a matter of like something really thoughtful. It's about the thought that really goes into everything and showing your devotion. And I think that's also why I also enjoy subs, because a lot of times they're able to get into that space and to also offer that pleasurable quality without having to be like in some essence like a, you know, a committed relationship. And I guess you can say I say that because I've had like some really not healthy committed relationships, like where people get really jealous because I'm hanging out with this person, or I feel like I can't go to yoga, or I can't do this because then what are they gonna do, or I'm insecure what they're doing behind my back. And you know, I really need like a trusted partner, and that's definitely a life goal, is to have someone great that's going to make my life enjoyable, and that I can make their life enjoyable, and we can be partners and best friends. And so my eyes are on the horizon, and I do really love Florida. That's also another hang up. I love the weather here, okay? Like I need to be warm. I know I'm called to being out of the country too, and I know that it's a lot cheaper to live outside the country in a lot of places as well. So that's also a fantasy. It's just I feel like I haven't really made the choice. I haven't officially chosen what I'm doing and how I'm spending my time, how I'm going to be spending my energy. It hasn't been officialized yet. You know, I just had a trigger of a thought too. I'm sure I mentioned this before. I have like this superior fantasy that I'm going to be in a relationship with someone who's going to basically, you know, give me a puppy or like a fox, like some kind of animal with like a big red bow tie. Or just like a bow tie, a pink bow tie, or just like a bow around its neck. And like maybe even make me open a box, and then inside the box is a critter. I love animals. Like I have like all these ultimate fantasies of what I desire, and I almost feel cherished enough to like tell you those things. And I keep saying like, I need to chill on the blonde talk, right? like I'm struggling for words, okay? So that's why I'm going to, like, basics. Anyway, number 1, greenhouse. Greenhouse made of glass. I've always had this vision of this building, and inside are, I want to say botanicals. I don't even know if that's the appropriate word. And there's just plants everywhere and all different kinds of specimens and herbs. And, like, I can't stop. You're just going to have to deal with it today. I vision an outdoor lavender field and sunflower patches, perhaps outside of the greenhouse. I vision a water area. There has to be a waterfall type area with rocks, preferably where I can hear the water hitting the rocks. I've visioned this a million times since my youth. An animal room. Literally, in my house, I walk into the room and it's an animal room. There's reptiles and there's all kinds of animals that I take care of. And they're all my familiars, my friends. I vision owning a nature preserve almost. I love nature. I'm obsessing and soaking in what the trees look like right now. And it's upsetting how my camera and like nothing does it justice for what I see inside and how it affects me. I have done my best possible ability to document my journey for you and what I see. I feel like bitching about how I don't have enough I need more hair ties in the car. I really do. I only like this kind too. I'm very picky. So picky. Quality. You know what my dad does? Pretty sure my dad does it. Not really sure. Pretty sure it's him that I've seen do it. And he drives with his knee. Like, I'm not that talented yet. I mean, I could try. I really just want to put my hair up. Although my hair is also like short and in the back it is super short, and that's kind of frustrating me, which is also why I'd like more vitamins, or I need to like do other things that enhance it. I like to be eating more avocados. I need to be drinking more water. I need like gallons and gallons and gallons of distilled water. That's also a huge excitement for having my own place. I vision a huge pantry. The more I think about that house, it's not necessarily my dream house. I did really enjoy the idea of being there, which is why I like the idea of 6 months. Part of me is even tempted to like almost half-ass move out. You know, like still stay with Dennis, though also simultaneously having that place too. I wish that I could just talk to Dennis like a normal person and mention these things and tell him I'd like to give it a try. And then to have that room available for me. Though I don't necessarily see him doing that. And I'm not sure that that's the best thing for me, and I don't know what he would say. My dad certainly thinks it's a horrible idea. I mean, I'll talk to him one more time about it and see what he says. I'm definitely like really eager for that, especially if I'm going to get into a serious relationship. I sincerely feel like I just need to live on my own for just a little tiny bit. Like I need to be completely by myself. I need that so bad. You know, I also thought about that necessarily that I could just leave George at home. He's a cat. I mean, he totally needs love and attention. And I sincerely wish I had someone I could trust that could come over, although I really don't have someone that I would trust to come inside my house and check on my animals, especially without letting him out the door. So I was thinking that I could just leave multiple bowls of water. That's another thing. If I get a house, I have to get all that stuff. I have to get like my own bowls, my own silverware, and my own stuff, you know? So for me, that's kind of pressuring. It's very pressuring, although I feel I need that experience. I'd like that experience more than anything. Or so I think. This is the most simplistic way that I can think of that I can figure out how to do that. Although I'm also thinking that I could just find somewhere else that's much cheaper and have the same experience. So that can be a little frustrating as well. This place is just too easy to go into as well. And have I mentioned I don't have a bed? That's also very pressurizing. The headboard I want is $700. I wish that Dennis would sell me the one in my room. Although I'm also a huge energetic person and I just want a fresh start. I want my own mattress and my own headboard, my own things. And realistically, all of these material things just really mean nothing. And still, like, I'm tearing myself apart at the seams, trying to figure out what I'm doing. And it's really frustrating. And I'm scared. I'll tell the truth, I'm scared to live alone. I've never lived alone before. Something just told me in my ear, take a risk. Just do it. Is that what I do? It'd be more comforting if I knew I had someone that like really had my back, that like I knew no matter what, they could totally save me from my issue. Though I don't feel I have that right now. I'd have to talk to my dad, and even then I don't know if he can handle me like that. I have a credit card to put all my stuff in storage. Well, it's getting long. I gotta go. I love you.